Okay, well, we're nearly ready to start. We've got a brand new member today around the table, which is very... Are you all excited about this today or not?
Who is it?
I'm always excited.
I don't like they use the word member, I'll be honest with you.
Got big boots to fill today, replacing Tubes.
No one can replace Tubes.
He's sunning himself in Abu Dhabi or somewhere.
I did check. I said, have you got the boot?
Yeah. What snacks have you got there? Have you got any snacks or anything to...
Yeah, I got... How did you know I had snacks?
Because I know you well. This episode is proudly sponsored by BP Me Rewards. Right, welcome to the world's #1 podcast, Soccer A to Z. We are the People's Podcast, saving football 1 week at a time, whilst helping society. We're working our way through the alphabet, as you know. This week, our letter is H. H for Helen Chamberlain, the first woman of football. Hello, Helen.
Hello, Hels.
Hello.
Hello, Helen.
Hi, Joe. Hello. I don't want to say hello to Neil yet because you haven't introduced him.
No, we haven't. Robbie is not working this week. So he's
I'm back here for pleasure.
Joe is here as always.
Hello.
And Tubes is away this week, as you mentioned. He is in Abu Dhabi, probably watching the Flintstones as we speak. Anyway, it's a squad game, so we looked at the bench, didn't we? And we thought, who can we bring forward? Someone who has a brand new nickname. He's now known as the Professor. It's the Colonel. It is Neil. Colonel and Ginger are back together. Neil, welcome to the show, the Professor.
Dra. Bonjour.
Hello, Neil.
Go on,
I'm
Robbie,
not sure I like that.
Give us a quick dra.
Dra.
Whoa. Yeah.
Okay, we've just spent half an hour sorting sound levels.
You can't tame Ginger.
You used to be called Horse Teeth.
H is for horse teeth.
Straight in. It's like you've never been away 15 years, and that's the first thing he says to me.
What are your other nicknames?
Neil the
How
Square.
much time we got? Neil the Square.
Yeah.
Colonel. Horse Teeth. Horse. I've had worse in my time.
The Colonel, obviously.
Colonel. Now it's Sir. Sir is my new... Not really my
you're-
nickname.
right.
It's my
No,
new name.
That's weird.
You're the Professor.
I'm not really a professor yet.
Is it weird people showing you respect?
So, Neil, you better explain why we are calling you the Professor. You've gone back to you've gone back to school. You're learning to be a teacher.
It's exactly that. I've gone back to school after, 35 years.
And what are you learning to do?
I am a trainee teacher learning to teach French and Spanish.
And how are you finding it?
Do you want a concise answer?
Yes.
Okay.
Just an hour will do.
Honestly, it's changed my life.
For the better?
Yes.
Why?
Well, I thought you wanted a concise answer. It's given me a new lease of life. I'm learning every day. I'm challenged every day, and I'm a changed man.
And what was that language? What was the language you used to?
Esperanto.
You used to go to Esperanto.
No, I think we made that up for the purposes of the show. I speak.
History's written by the winners.
You told me that, and someone weed in your trumpet or
French
something.
horn.
French horn.
What has that got to do with? Just because it's got a French horn, it's got nothing to do with French.
Yeah. Do you remember when you went away one summer and learned to be a referee?
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
it's like nothing.
He went to
it's like
comedy
nothing has
class.
changed.
Yeah, he did a stand-up comedy class.
Stand-up comedian.
Every summer,
stand up.
every summer he'd go away and do something that would make us make fun of him.
But I've never played dodgeball.
No.
See, I've
great
listened
game.
to the pod.
That's a great
No, I've never played dodgeball, but yes,
No,
I did play the French horn.
Didn't you play that ultimate frisbee?
I did. I was
Then I wouldn't pick on the dodgeball.
captain of my university team playing ultimate frisbee. I'll have you know.
How many people turned up?
Was it
for that?
team?
Frisbee. What is it?
Is this a football pod? Ultimate frisbee. It's a fantastic sport where you basically throw a frisbee. It's a little bit like American football, but with a frisbee and no contact.
Yeah, you have been
not very
working.
low.
You have been working in football though as well. You've been at #United before you decided to become a teacher. For people who don't know what #United is, could you explain to us, please?
Yeah. #United is a football club, but what's interesting about it is it's a football club that was launched by an influencer, much like Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
He'd probably,
be careful of Robbie.
Yeah,
If you haven't been around him for a while, he's doing a lot of influencing.
This is true. But or he'd probably call himself a creator. Anyway, so Spencer Owen created his own football team about 8 years ago. So the way I'm thinking about it is, think about you. You set up the Badgers with your mates.
Yeah.
You played all around the
I didn't
country.
set up with my mates. Set up with you lot.
Okay. Yeah, you were Fennis's mate. You played all around the country in fantastic exhibition games.
Yeah.
That's what he did, but he then put his highlights on YouTube,
Right.
became an influencer, and then we went into the non-league pyramid. So they're a bona fide football team now playing in, the 7th tier of football.
It is an incredible story, isn't it?
It's amazing. So imagine setting up your own club with your mates, and 4 years later you're playing in the FA Cup.
How do you get a stadium?
We don't have a stadium, so we're ground sharing at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, the stadium's next level.
Does he regret calling it #United?
No, and you'll understand this, because if people are talking about you, then you've probably done the right thing, right? Some people love it, some people hate it. But the thing is, and again, you know this, football club names generally derived from how the club was formed, right? And usually it was to do with a group of workmates back in the day forming a club. So this was
Wednesday, played on a Wednesday.
Hamilton Academicals.
Right. Okay. So #United.
Hamilton Academicals what?
Well, they must have all been academicals.
Must have been doing a lot of the work there, a lot of heavy lifting in it.
Well, Man United was Newton Heath, wasn't it, to do with the railways, right? Something like that. Essentially, it was a group of workmates who got together to form a football team,
Right.
but a football team on the internet. So anyway, it's a fantastic story.
So I know you're the one thing I know about you, Neil, is you work blooming hard. You're always the hardest working person on a team ever. You put the hours in. So #United, you must have pretty much done everything apart from turn up and put a kit on and play, right?
Yeah, pretty much
Yeah.
that. Tim basically, Tim?
Yeah, I'm
Spencer said to me he needed an adult to run things. So
Right.
I came in as the adult. So I did all the content, but also I did stints as the kit man. I was ordering
Do you know
the
what?
kit.
If you were setting up a football club, Neil would be the best person ever, wouldn't he? You just go, give it to Neil.
Write a list of all the things you don't want to do and give it to Neil.
Pretty much that.
But he'll deliver and he'll do it really well. That's the thing about Neil. He won't stop working.
Neil?
Hello, Helen. Oh, hello, Helen.
Yeah, hello. When you said you entered the Football League, how do you even begin to do that? Do you have to write a letter? How do you apply to be in the Football League? How do you become accepted to be a team in the whatever tier of the football pyramid?
So it's
Great question.
Yeah, it is. So it's the national league system, and how they got in. Normally, it's a bit complicated, but how they got in was there was a new league starting in their area. It's step 6, I think, which is like the 10th tier, and they applied and they got in. It's not normally the way you do it, but that's how they got in, essentially.
And how did everybody else react to the club coming in? I bet they hated it.
Initially, there was a lot of pushback, because these clubs have been around like 100 odd years, and we were doing things really, really differently.
Yeah.
Really, all we were doing was posting our games on YouTube, but they saw us as coming in and creating something different. But I think over the years, and we've been a non-league 6-7 years now, they saw that we had respect. They saw that we were good for the game.
Important things. What's their nickname? Is it the Hash or the Tags?
Tags.
The Tags.
What colour do they play in?
Yellow.
Yellow and blue.
How do you not know that? He's our mate.
Yeah.
Yellow and blue.
He's our mate. He's posting every day on the blooming hashtag stuff.
Oh yeah,
I thought you were
yellow
an
and
ultra,
blue.
mate.
Yeah.
I thought you were an ultra.
They got hashtag ultra. They got the ladies team now and everything.
Hey,
Haven't they?
the ladies, the women are an amazing success. We beat Newcastle United at Kenilworth Road for a national cup last week.
Neil, you're coming in here. You're not talking to the mic. You're banging your hands on the table.
I'm an amateur.
Little-
I'm not allowed to bang the tables.
Oh,
Is that
really?
it?
It's not, you're not at school now, son.
No, you told me to listen to Helen. You didn't tell me not to bang on the table.
You have to
I'll keep my hands to myself.
Okay, cool.
Anyway, yes, the women, fantastic success.
Give
It's
us-
been an amazing ride.
give us a bit of French or Spanish,
Why?
because that's what you're learning. And
Yeah, but
you can speak. Joe,
you're not
speak- what do you
paying me.
speak?
Oh, he doesn't know any.
I'm paid to
Joe
speak
speaks
French and
Spanish or French.
Spanish.
What do you speak?
Les deux.
Pardon?
Los dos.
What's this? 2.
The both. I speak both.
By the way, I lied last week on the podcast. I said I left school at 16. I went home and calculated I left school at 17. I then went to and I feel bad about that because there's no way you could leave. I did my GCSEs, did very well, got 6. Thank you very much. Went to college, wanted to be a hairdresser. My mum wouldn't let me be a hairdresser. So I went there, and then my parents went to a parents' evening, and they said, "Oh, you're the parents of Tim Lovejoy, are you? Yes, we'd like to meet him one day." I decided that going to college wasn't a good idea, so I had to leave and get a job in in a closed shop. Helen, what were you like at school? Were you any good? Did you go to university? Did you get further? Did you get A levels?
No. I still don't know to this day what exams I passed because we had to hand in a stamped addressed envelope at the end of the season, so we get posted back our exam results. And this is, did I just say the end of the season?
Yeah. The school
that just tells you everything. At the end of term, we were supposed to hand in a stamped addressed envelope for our exam.
Did you go straight to Chessington then, or Butlins, or wherever you went?
God, no. And I just didn't bother to hand my envelope in, so my exam results are still sat at school.
Can we find them out?
Yeah, let's find
them out. I'm reading them out in the pod.
They closed her school down. That's what they did when she left.
There must be a record somewhere.
Yeah, there must be. But I was bright at school, but properly gobby, couldn't be bothered. One of those. I was demoted from one of my O-level groups, not for being thick.
Relegated.
Relegated.
Yeah, I was relegated to CSEs. So I took a bunch of those. But I left school on the Friday and went to work on the Monday. Went to work at Clark's.
But Helen, it all worked out because you own an animal prison now. You're calling it a small holding. But as we all know on this podcast, it's animal prison. What is the latest news from the farm, Chamberlain's farm?
Well, there isn't. There's no news. No news this week. But I was. I'm going to say I was lucky. I missed a call from a friend who's part of animal rescue, usually cats, dogs, things. And I missed a call on Sunday. And a couple of hours later, I just said, I've missed a call. Everything okay? She went, yes. Somebody found a goat in the middle of a housing estate in Aldershot, and I was hoping that you could take it. But in between, I found somewhere else for it to go. So I nearly brought news of found a goat on a housing estate in Aldershot.
You would have had to call it Pele, Maradona, Messi or Ronaldo, wouldn't you? Because they're the goat.
I would
have to be one of those. Yeah. So, Robbie, where have you been? You've been away this week, haven't you?
I've been at the world's biggest sausage festival in Hungary.
What?
Wow.
Why?
Okay.
YouTube video, like most things I do.
Oh, yeah. What was it? Was it any good?
Yeah, it was all right, you know. That it was a bit weird. Like, it was a bit of sort of music festival. All these Hungarian bands, but they're obviously massive in Hungary because they're in these enormous, huge marquee things, like massive, like huge crowds. Everyone's singing all the songs, but obviously we don't know who they are. But also it's a bit weird because there's the music and obviously all the different sausages, and there was a sausage making competition with hundreds of different teams all making their sausages. But then you go around one corner and there was like just a little police tent, and they had loads of weapons out there, and the policeman let my friend Stu have a go at a taser.
Oh, on who?
He didn't get to shoot anyone, but he got depressed. You could see the electricity coming out at the end.
Nice. How many sausages do you think you ate then?
Well, I ate one that was over a foot long, and then I ate a meal that had cut up bits of sausages. They're probably only 2 sausages, but sizable sausages.
Didn't you just go around and they gave you just like mouthfuls of them on a toothpick?
No, you had to buy the sausages.
You had to buy the sausages. Was it worth going?
It was worth going for a YouTube video. It's quite a long way to go just to eat some sausages.
Well, at least there's a point to it. I went on holiday this week, and I'm confused about holidays. So I don't really know what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm there.
Depends on the holiday, I think.
Well, yeah, but you just arrive somewhere, and then what happens?
Aren't you supposed to relax, Tim?
That's tougher to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Not for me.
Wow.
I went to Suffolk. I spent most of the week in a pub. Loved it.
Yeah.
Don't you go and look at things, local things?
Experience things.
Things.
Yeah.
Life is about experiences, Tim. I always used to tell you this. Remember when I saw Concord?
Eat local food.
That's what people do when they go on holiday. They eat and drink. Joe, what have you been up to this week?
Well, I've been on holiday myself. Well, very briefly, I went down to Devon.
Oh.
To see the in-laws.
Do you like a service station, Joe? Because that's the bit I like about going on a road.
Yeah, I do. And going down to Devon, you get on the M5 and you got that Gloucester one,
Gordano.
which is
oh yeah,
Gordano. Yeah,
what's
and
that?
Cribbs Causeway, good for
Gloucester one's the
burger.
spin-off of T-Bay.
What is it? Is it
the Gloucester one? It's like an eco services, and it's
like
got
a
grass,
trendy
grass
hipster
on the
indie
roof and whatnot. And there's
Farm
none of your,
shop.
there's none of your WH Smiths or your Burger Kings or anything like that. It's like proper farm shop stuff. It's good.
Oh.
Yeah, it's all right.
Right, today what letter are we doing today? We're doing H's, aren't we? Helen won last week, so she will start. Actually, before we do that, we've got a load of questions coming in, by the way. Did you ever Did you ever have like an emergency guest that you knew could turn up in short notice if any other guest pulled out? Yes, we did. I'll tell you about that. As a supporter of a lower team, says Tim, in the Premier League, FC Bournemouth, do you think that the big teams have more decision in their favour than so-called smaller teams? We will answer both those questions on the Friday edition of the Q&Q. Helen, before you start actually giving us your H, maybe you should give us some listeners first.
Yes, our listeners' H's. Sci-Fines is back. Last week he said G. Well, I'll give you Glenn Hoddle.
Yeah.
This week he said H. Still Glenn Hoddle.
Oh, no, yeah.
I'm not going to argue with you, Simon.
Hoddle deserves it, yeah. 2 weeks in a row.
Milo says Hasselbank, Jimmy Floyd.
Yeah, that's good.
What a great player.
Yep.
Yorkshire slang, headers and volleys.
Nice.
Yeah.
Play headers and volleys?
Yeah.
And Lancashire as well. We had that, headers and volleys.
Yeah, everywhere.
60 seconds.
Wembley.
Simon Rhodes, Higuita, with the scorpion kick, will
Nice.
never be forgotten. This is good. John O'Davis says half-time entertainment. Now, the best I ever saw at Torquay United was having 3 balls to hit a pantomime cow running across the pitch to win some local ice cream.
What? They did what? They did, say that again.
Okay, so someone out the crowd,
Yeah.
centre circle, 3 footballs. They sent a pantomime cow
Oh, a
from one
pantomime
side
cow.
to the other, and you had 3 shots to hit the pantomime
That's
cow
funny.
for either a week, a fortnight, or a month's supply of local ice cream.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think they should do with half-time entertainment? They should bring back brass bands.
No.
But, hear me out, they're playing bangers.
No.
Right? So they're playing like
Joe.
David Guetta
Yeah.
and all of that kind of stuff.
Chapel
Like,
Road.
marching up and down the pitch,
That's it.
playing like
Sabrina Carpenter.
They do that in America.
Get that
They
at
do
the
in America.
Reebok.
They love
Get that
it.
at the
in
Reebok.
America.
Insist
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
it. Rob White says H for health and safety. That's a good one to bring up because Neil was the man who bought us butter at Lurpak on the
Ellen Road.
Ellen Road.
Very dangerous.
You were the guy.
Extremely dangerous.
Tell us the story.
Well, Leeds United had butter on their steps at Ellen Road.
Lurpak written.
Lurpak written. Yeah, and I think didn't we speak to
You came
Leeds
in.
United?
I remember you coming in and saying to me, Tim, Leeds United have got butter on their steps.
Yeah,
It's a
outrageous.
health and safety issue. And that's always one of my favourite items ever on Soccer M. And you phoned Leeds United up about it, didn't you?
Yeah, I'm not sure they really got the
I think, because you also, I think, phoned the Premier League. One of them got it and said, we'll look into it, which is quite funny.
Every time we had to call these places up, I just was imagining the guy at the other end just thinking, "That's Soccer aim again."
you also every year made him phone up the Mormon in Salt Lake City and ask them on Valentine's Day, why don't Mormons send flowers?
Yeah.
I can never go to Salt Lake City.
Yeah. I must admit, though, I stole that joke off Cheers.
Did you?
Yeah, I was watching
Right.
Cheers one day and they said it at the bar. They said, why don't more men send flowers? I go, they do send flowers. And so we got them to phone it up every week.
Nobody owns jokes, Tim.
They don't. That's
Nobody
very
owns a
true.
joke.
Right, Helen, what's your H?
I am bringing you Harry Redknapp.
Oh,
That's good.
Or
done it.
should I say Henry Redknapp? Because that's his name. Did
Is
you
it?
know?
Wow.
His actual name is Henry Redknapp. I honestly don't think there is anybody who loves football more than Harry Redknapp.
Can I just interrupt you very quickly, Helen, there? Can I just interrupt you?
Yeah.
Because Harry Maguire is actually called Jacob and Harry Bassett is actually called
Dave.
Dave.
Bassett.
Dave
Dave,
Bassett.
yeah.
Why is everyone called Harry?
Why is he called Harry? When I was at school, a teacher called me Robin on the first day one year, and I didn't correct him, so I had to be Robin for a year. Do you think that's what happened with him?
We don't know.
Okay.
God, sorry.
Can we call him Robin?
Yeah, we're going to
Now
call
on?
you Robin. And his name's really Joel as well, not Sheephead.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't christened Sheephead. Sorry, Helen, carry on.
And but there's also, as a footnote, there was Charlie Oatway, who played for Torquay United, whose dad was a QPR fan. And Charlie Oatway had 11 first names of the entire QPR squad, and none of them were Charlie, because that's what he was. So we just called him
brilliant.
Charlie,
That's
and it wasn't any of his names. Let's go back to Mr. Harry Redknapp. He knows everything, but he also knows everybody. I don't know if this is the same as you, Tim. The first time I met him, he knew my name. He not only knew my name, hello, Helen, how are Torquay United doing?
Wow.
He didn't just ask me how Torquay United were doing. He told me how Torquay United were doing. He named the gaffer and a couple of the players as well. one of our standard questions on Soccer AM to our guests was always, who's the best manager that you've played under? And anybody who'd played with Harry Redknapp said Harry Redknapp. And they would always say it, not even necessarily tactically or whatever. They said that man made you feel like $1 million. He made you feel like you were the best player in the world. Harry has spent 66 years in football. He was 11 when he joined Tottenham's youth team. But to be honest, he is best known to all of us, guaranteed to be hanging out his car window on transfer deadline day, or answering the phone to Jim White at about 11:35 at night. Jim White just go, I'm going to ring Harry, and he'd always answer. The man had the audacity to go from managing Portsmouth to Southampton and back to Portsmouth again, and laughed about it all. I don't think anybody else could have done that. He won the FA Cup with Portsmouth, and then he was given the freedom of the city. And he was booed at the ceremony because 3 days earlier he'd taken the Tottenham job. And he just turned up and went, well, this is a bit awkward, isn't it? I just love him. In 1994, while managing West Ham at a pre-season friendly at Oxford, City though, not United, he plucked a gobby fan at half-time. There was a fan giving Lee Chapman stick, and he plucked a gobby fan out of the crowd and said, all right, then have a go. Yeah. And put him on in the second half. Put a fan out of the crowd on in the second half. That fan scored, by the way.
Got a 3-year deal.
Helen, you can't forget that every time we used to cross over to one of his teams, he'd be sitting in his dressing room when he reading the Racing Post.
Racing Post.
And he used to give us a horse tip, didn't he, when he used to come on Soccer AM? So
he did. And the other thing as well is when he talks about Paolo Di Canio, he says he was a genius, but and in training he had to make sure that he split the teams so that the kickers, your Winterburns, Stuart Pearce, Steve Lomas, were on the same team as Paolo Di Canio, because if he got kicked in training, there were afters.
Right.
So he dealt with it by putting them on the same side.
This is good, but you're forgetting the best ever Harry Redknapp clip. One where they're doing an interview with him at the training ground. The ball smacks him, and that's why you're in the effing reserve.
Yeah, that is the best. By the way, me saying a horse tip, I think that proves that I don't. I'm not a racing man, because I don't think it's a horse tip, is it? What would you say? He gave us tips?
A tip on the horses.
Is that
Gigi? Fine.
Yeah, not a horse tip though. I don't think. I think he should have been England manager. I think him and Clough were the two we missed out on, because all the England players he played under Venables, who's a similar type of person who really respects the players. Yeah, they all loved playing under Venables.
Was he a bit real? Harry's probably too real in this modern day, to be the England manager, don't you think? Anyway,
that's a very good age. Very good. That's
and he won the jungle.
I think we're going to struggle. Oh yeah, he did. He did. I forgot he went in the jungle. Right. I think we're going to struggle to beat that. But Neil, you're up.
Helen Chamberlain, I take your Harry Redknapp and I raise it.
Oh, he's raising.
I'm raising it.
Where's he going to go?
With a Holloway. Oh, you see, I've already got her. I know I've got Helen. Now, listen, number one, this is topical. Ian Holloway, Ollie, has just gone back in football after 4 years out of the game. Mm-hmm. So it's topical.
Yeah.
Is he not one of the most entertaining men in football?
Yes.
Based on his amazing interviews.
Yes.
Is he not, and Helen mentioned this, is he not, well he is, the best manager I've ever played under?
Yeah, because he managed us in the Grasshoppers.
Exactly, right? I thought you'd forget that.
FA Cup final show. We all went, of course, it was about 20 a side, wasn't it?
Before the FA Cup final, it was. And he was one of our managers. And I can see why his players run through brick walls for that match.
Yeah, he couldn't let it go, could he? He was trying to organise us all. And there was it was literally 16 a side or something, wasn't it?
I felt like a pro footballer for the day. It was brilliant. And again, like Helen said about Harry, a lot of players will say that Ollie is the best manager they've ever played for.
Yeah.
And we all know his amazing interviews. And he did a brilliant one last week when he got his job at that club down the road.
Swindon.
With
Neil's an Oxford fan, by the way, the rivals.
With an earring in?
With an earring in?
Ian Holloway.
Did he have an earring?
Wearing an earring.
Oh, rock and roll. Yes, Ian.
And also, and this is a bit straight, but what a lovely family man as well. He always used to talk so warmly about his family and his daughters.
Yeah.
So fantastic guy, fantastic guest to have on the show, fantastic manager. I love the guy. The problem is I'm really conflicted. I love the guy. I want to see Swindon relegated this year, so I don't really know the rest.
Yes, go on, Neil.
I'm sorry, Swindon fans, but
When we were doing Soccer AM, I used to have to do research chats with the guests where I'd phone them up beforehand. And Ian Holloway was booked in the show, so I phoned him up. I said, "All right, Ian, it's Robbie from Soccer AM. How you doing?" He went, "All right, Robbie." How's it going? I was like, "Can I just run through just have a little chat with you and run through a few questions?" He went, yeah, no problem. And I was chatting to him for like 15, 20 minutes about what he was up to, where he was going on holiday, a nice restaurant he'd been to, all this sort of stuff. And I said, at the end of it, I said, "All right, Ian, shall I organise a car for you?" He went, "Oh, what, am I on the show, am I?" I went, yeah, we saw it with your agent. Is that all right? He goes, "Oh, yeah, it's fine. I didn't know." I said, Why do you think I've been asking you all these questions for 20 minutes? I thought you just fed up for a chat. It's not lovely that I could have just called Ian Holloway up for a 20-minute chat about his holiday plans.
Do you still have his number?
Yeah.
You should phone him after the show, after this podcast, see if he wants to come on.
Don't tell him I want him to relegate them. If you're calling him up.
I tell you what, we've got 2 very strong H's so far. Let's just take a little bit of a pause for some stat chat. Jack says QPR have the best goals per game ratio in Europe, 39 in 12 games. El Bosch. That's a good stat, isn't it?
Is that right?
I don't know if it's right or not.
What? They're in Europe.
It is correct, yeah. It is correct. Peter Davis says a national team managed by a foreigner has never won a World Cup. That doesn't bode well for us, does it? And it's Troy Boy says Manchester United have never lost a Premier League game after leading at half time. They are your stat chats.
That you haven't checked.
There's no such thing as false stats, you know that.
May or may not be true.
I can tell you they are all true. They've been researched.
Because you say so.
No, I'm not. They have been actually researched. They're all good. So QPR are the best team in Europe.
I found that one quite confusing. Yeah. The best team in Europe. Surely it was on the Champions League.
QPR have the best goals per game ratio in Europe. They've scored 39
in European
goals.
Competitions.
In Europe, yes, in European competitions.
Right. Okay.
Oh, right.
Right, yeah, that was not a well worded stat.
Right.
I got it, but hang on, that's 3 goals per game. So 3 plus. I mean, I'm not a maths teacher, but how many 3 goals plus per game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
3 point something.
You should be a maths teacher.
Thanks very much. Appreciate it.
Got to stop the podcast there quickly. Every week we like to have a chat with our friends in football. Today we've got the busiest presenter in media. It is Kelly Cates. Hi, Kelly.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. So much to talk to you about. You are so busy, aren't you? You're juggling Sky Sports, your podcast, BBC. You clearly must be enjoying yourself at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not that busy. It's just that I've joined Instagram, so you can see everything that I do.
Influencer.
I think on the football, though, Kelly, I keep saying this to everyone, you've got the balance right, because for a while football got really serious, and it is a serious thing, I know, but for us, the viewers, we want to see people having a laugh as well, and you create such a great atmosphere. You've got such good pundits now on Sky Sports, and you bring the game alive, don't you? It must be gold dust having Roy Keane sitting there as well.
Yeah, we've got great guests. And we're really lucky because when you finish the game, you're genuinely interested in what they have to say. It's not hard work to kind of think, oh my God, what am I going to ask them? How do I bring the best out of them? Because they always come with their A game. But you're right. I mean, the thing about taking it seriously, I always come back to a phrase that I was told years ago when I did a bit of work with ESPN, and they said, we take our sports seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously. And I think as long as you're kind of delivering for fans who are watching, then you can kind of have a bit of fun in there, I think.
Yeah, and you've got that going well. There's always someone having a little giggle, isn't there, when it all starts?
But usually me.
Yeah, you do. You smile a lot, and I think you bring a warmth to the game. And football's kind of bigger than it's ever been at the moment, isn't it? As well, so it's a great place to be. How's the BBC going as well? 5 Live stuff.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, busy with 5 Live. That genuinely was busy this summer because there was the Euros and then the Olympics, and it was just kind of like. constant work. But you're at the Euros and you're at the Olympics. So not busy in the sense that I would complain about it, but just a lot going on.
And tell us about your podcast quickly, because that's doing as well.
Oh, yes.
Not just
so the podcast is new. We're still working out what we want it to be exactly, which I think is the way of podcast. It's 3 women. So Hayley McQueen does it, Christine Lampard and me. And the idea is that football is a starting point to talk about other stuff, which I think is what all good podcasts and all good conversations should be. You start with one idea and then you move on to all kinds of different things. And then you can kind of explore other areas. But that does take a lot of time to get to that sort of relaxed feel with it. So we all get on really well. The 3 of us get on really well. And we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, got to point out it's Christine Lampard and Hayley McQueen with you. Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Correct.
Talking about getting some women together and chit-chatting, do you remember that meal that we went on in Chiswick?
With my brother in Zizzi's?
No, the fella that won a meal with 5 of us at an auction. There was... Don't say you don't remember this at all. There was you, me, right? There was
reflection.
Okay, so this fella paid £2,000 to have dinner with us. There was me, you, there was Gabby, Lindsay Hipgrave, and Vicky Gomersall, and there was 5 of us. And I don't think the 5 of us had ever been in the same room at the same time. And there was this fella who'd paid a couple of thousand.
I do remember this.
Right. Okay, he paid a couple of £1,000 to have dinner with all the Sky Sports, and he never got a word.
and did he have to pick up the bill at the end as well?
I completely forgot about that. It was the place down at the end of Chiswick High Road, wasn't it? Towards the roundabout.
It was.
I do remember now. Oh my God.
We were so excited because all 5 of us were in the room at the same time, and we just went. But he enjoyed himself. He did enjoy.
He must have. I mean, honestly, who wouldn't enjoy being in the midst of that conversation? But, it's still the same in that it's so rare for women who work in football, particularly, to get together now. So that's one of the really lovely things about the podcast, just as a side issue, is that we spend time with each other. But because we're all working either on the same thing or working on the kind of opposite shift, if you like, we don't really see each other very often. Or then you'll go to a dinner or something and you'll bump into people and you're like, oh, it's so lovely to see you. And then you give them like a quick update on the last 18 months of your life. And then you're like, and we need to go for a wine. And then it never happens. Yeah.
Kelly, you mentioned your brother. How is Paul?
He's good. Yeah, he's really well. He's kind of between here and Houston at the moment, which is, tricky. Yeah. but apart from that, he's doing really well.
And how's your old man?
Yeah, he's fine. He's good. Playing lots of golf, having a lovely, relaxing time.
Yeah.
So Kenny Dalglish, you've just called out your old man.
Isn't he? Yes. Your family's
He can't stand on ceremony at home, can he? He's going around at home. Especially not with 3 daughters as well.
Yeah, give us some inside gossip as well. Is it, you hang out with Roy Keane a bit. Is he going to go for the Man United job? Would he be good?
Well, I don't know.
Paul said it all.
Because the reason I pause it because Roy's answer, because he gets asked this and his answer is always, they would never ask me. And so I think it's not even kind of, would Roy be good at the job? It's like, would he ever feature on Manchester United's radar? And his point is that he just wouldn't. I think they're quite close to getting someone now anyway.
I think they would be letting every other football fan down if they didn't appoint him, wouldn't they? Because we would absolutely love it.
Oh, I would love it. I would love it so much.
Even this week, he said his quote was, if you want loyalty, get a dog.
Yeah.
Is he not enjoying himself too much doing all the media stuff?
Yeah, he is brilliant.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think there is a point there that if they missed a trick, because when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer came in, there is something in bringing somebody who really understands your club, who kind of represents your club. There genuinely is value to that. So I think just as a kind of stabilizer he could come in and do a job. Honest to God, I'd love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it.
Kelly, thank you so much.
But we want him back. We want him back.
Yeah, okay. Once he's won the Premier League, yeah. Listen, Kelly, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's always lovely to talk to you.
Thank you. Lovely to talk to you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kelly.
Bye.
Right, who should we go to now? It's got to be Joe.
H stands for holidays, something that we were forbidden to have whilst under the employment of Sky Sports. We couldn't have a single day off during the football season.
Legally, I'm not sure they'd say that.
Yeah.
Well,
be careful.
Different times.
I think it was more. I think
it was him.
I think it was more me.
Yeah, you were cracking the whip.
And I feel bad about it, but the viewers wanted to see, the stars of the show. You guys turn up. How many shows do we do a year? 42?
40.
Yeah.
42
Plus
shows
Christmas
a year.
special.
So that's 10 shows off. I'm not a maths teacher, but it's 10 shows off. And who's going to do topless weather if it wasn't you? None of
Anyone?
No, Joe.
You asked me to do topless weather.
What? Who did?
You did. You asked me. I was remembering this thing. But you asked me to do it before him, and I said no, I'm not doing it.
You what?
Wow.
I was second choice.
I wouldn't feel bad. Let me
clarify. Let me clarify.
This is your last chance.
Let me clarify. I didn't want to do it. I knew I'd be terrible at it. I knew you'd be better at it, so I declined to do it.
God,
too high standards.
And also, I was a bit concerned about the image and stuff. So yeah, you did it. Do you not remember that?
I was plan B.
No, you were always.
Now I've thrown.
He offered the job to someone before me.
I've just dropped that grenade. Yes, you did.
Yeah, I went when I came for my interview. You offered the job to someone else. They couldn't start in time, so I got the job.
Yeah, I liked it.
Don't you feel
I
bad?
really liked him. Yeah.
I'm only here because someone else couldn't get out of their
He
previous
was going
job
to
in
sack
time.
me. Don't you remember the first?
God, I'm not getting.
Hang on, he's become a tribunal.
Thrown the grenade. I'm really sorry.
There's a blame, there's a claim.
When
I'll leave.
he took over Soccer AM, the first thing on his list was get rid of her. She don't do anything.
That is true. That is true. But it turned out that Helen was brilliant, and it turned out, Robbie, you're amazing. It turned out Joe was the best at topless weather.
As a producer, I knew he'd be better, right? So I gave the job to Joe.
Yeah. What happened to? I just want to know what happened to the guy who should have got your job. He was.
I don't know who it was.
He was probably really brilliant.
Never met them.
He's
probably Director General of the BBC.
It's probably Mr. Beast. He's really influencing.
Yeah.
So go on, get back to your holidays. So the thing is about holidays is, like, the way I saw it is you can't go to, apart from Brian Clough, he was the only man in football who took holidays during the football season. Yeah, but he had Peter Taylor standing by. But nobody else ever takes a holiday. You can't. If you're Alan Shearer, you can't go. Oh, I'm going to take a week off.
Yeah. That's right.
So
anything these days, the birth of a child, I'm having a week off, a couple of days off, paternity leave, whatever. You're working on Soccer AM. I'm getting married. I'm having a child. Forget it.
Do it in Edit Suite 3.
I did feel guilty now, but at the time it made perfect sense to me that people, like, we had to put a show together. We were working harder than the amount of staff we had. Do you not agree?
Yeah.
Like the hours everyone was putting in for those 42 weeks, we were making a bigger show.
But we did get 2 months off in the summer. That was the kind of that was the deal, wasn't it? That you worked hard for 40 odd weeks, and then you got like whatever was left off.
And I do think Sky used to say the guys have to come back to work on other things because you were all contractors, you're all employees.
Yeah, we used to do Summer Soccer AM with Kirsty Gallagher and Rob Palmer.
Spooning.
There were a couple of years we had nothing to do, and it was brilliant. Finished middle of May, come back start of August.
God, didn't you used to take holiday though?
We used to do. I used to game the system a bit. So I started off. I wanted to go skiing because I used to live in a ski resort. So I did like Saturday after the show, we'd fly out, ski Sunday, Monday, and fly back at like 7 a.m. on a Tuesday, and then eventually we'd get, after a year or two, managed to move that to the Tuesday afternoon. We get back, so we get a slightly later flight. Then you said we'll just come in Wednesday. So we did manage to get a day off once a year. But then what we do is we'd ski.
You owe me a day.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday.
I went as well, to be fair.
Yeah, Neil went too.
You owe me a day.
Yeah. Tuesday on the year. Yeah.
That's a good H. That's a good age. What do we think about people taking time off for winter? In the leagues, we all agree. Yeah, the winter break. We all agree players should play through, right?
Woke nonsense.
Yeah, it's woke nonsense.
I've been listening to the pod, guys.
You feel bereft when there's no football on, don't you?
Yeah, I think that.
Imagine how they're feeling, like Spain and Italy and one on. There's no football for a month.
It's not even that
cold. What do you do?
No, exactly.
And how hard are they working?
Yeah,
they going non-league. That's how hard they work.
Okay, do you want to do your H?
Yes, I have gone for another person with a link to Soccer AM.
They're very strong so far. Should we just run through if someone's just joined?
Please.
People don't just join you, do you? Either watch or listen to a podcast.
Someone might have been listening to it in the car and then they picked their friend up and their friend's not heard it all. So it is possible.
Or their friend was chatting away and they missed some of the stuff.
Yeah.
So we've had H for holidays, Joe. We've had H for Ian Holloway, and we've had H for Harry Redknapp. Who's your H?
My H is Hassan Kashlou.
He's only gone and done it. He's gone and done it.
No.
The Moroccan,
gone and done it.
Moroccan hero. He came on. He was I think he played in France for a bit. Then he went to Southampton, I think, then Villa. And I think it was when he was at Villa. He came on Soccer AM.
Yeah.
It was so funny and so nice. We were thinking we've got to do something with him. And the idea we had was Hassan Kashlou's kickoff of the week.
That's it.
Which was basically, I had to go up to Villa's training ground with him and just film him reacting loads of times. So the idea is there'd be a kickoff, which is just at the time you couldn't kick it backwards. It was just someone kicking it a yard forwards to the person stood next to him, and then that would be it. And then it would cut to Hassan going, "Oh, that is sick," or something like that. And I gave him a list of things to say, and he did them. But then he improvised a few other ones. And my favourite one, I just remember someone just taking a kick off and Hassan Kashal going, "Oh, call the police!" And then we did it again, and then I had to go up. I had to go back because it was popular. So I went back and again at the start of the next season where they were having their team photo on the pitch like that, and just filmed him in the centre circle at Villa Park saying more comments about kickoffs.
Do you think we could get footballers in this day and age, if we were doing Soccer AM right now, would we be able to get footballers to arm wrestle people and do crossbar challenges?
I'm not sure arm wrestle. I think the other one. Yeah, because they do stuff like that for YouTubers and things.
Do they?
Yeah, they do all sorts of stuff.
What, you get the big Premier League players doing it?
Yeah, some of them.
Would you get past the gatekeepers nowadays? Because that got harder, didn't it? Those calls to the clubs or the emails to the clubs just got harder and harder as the years went by.
Yeah, I always say this. During the 11 years I was there, by the 11th year, we weren't getting any Premier League players on. We'd managed to get as many players as we could, basically from Charlton and Leicester, for years and years and years and years.
Say we managed to alienate everyone in the game.
No, yeah, it was like those teams who were really lovely to us. And I tell you what, the reason why I think Leicester and Charlton did so well, but I mean, I know Leicester ended up winning the league eventually, but because they had such beautiful club where it felt so family orientated. Do you remember Charlton? They were just everyone who played for Charlton who came, where they were Premier League, everyone who played for Charlton who came on our show loved playing for Charlton, didn't they? They absolutely loved it because they'd created such a great atmosphere at a club. I think there's a lot to be said for that, don't you? Yeah. All right, that's a really good H. 4 fantastic H's here. Mine's rubbish. I regret mine now. I'll still win probably. You know, I don't like to.
Arrogance of the man.
Helen's still choosing, right?
Yeah.
He still has the power.
Yeah.
So just go his paper for the audio listeners because he hasn't got his H ready.
Yeah. H is for hard man. See, I was thinking about this. The one bit of the game that's missing for me. I love the game, by the way. I love the way it's moved on. We've got Cole Palmer now, so everything's all right. And I love watching him play football. But the one thing that's missing is the hard man. And we all grew up with the hard man. You know, from Batty, Graham Souness, Tommy Smith, going back in the good old days. Everyone had their hard men, and they've been, because of the red card, the straight red. They've gone from the game. They can't afford to be on the pitch anymore, can they? You cannot have players like that masquerading as a footballer in the team. So they've gone, and and I think it's a shame. I liked contact football, and I liked it when players would do a 2-footed tackle and then they would do the circular motion with their hands and go, I got the ball. I got the ball. It doesn't matter that I hurt that person. I'm not talking about injuries. I don't like the bad ones, you know, where people injured people. But I liked the idea that there was a challenge for the ball. It's gone from the game, and the hard man has gone. Do we all agree?
Get the crowd going.
Agree.
Who were your favourite hard men?
Keane.
Keane, yes. Yeah.
Gary
Duncan
Briggs.
Ferguson.
Well, we have to say Duncan Ferguson. He has to have a mention. But I mentioned one earlier. Steve Lomas was a bit hard as nails as well. Oh, Julian Dix as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a little bit of a quiz for you here. Who has the most red cards in the Premier League of all time? There's 3, joint third.
Robbie Savage.
Keane.
No, none of those.
Vieira?
Yes. Vieira, and he's got 8. Richard Dunn has 8, and Duncan Ferguson has 8.
David Batty.
Lee Cattermore has 7. Alan Smith has 7. Is that the Man United Leeds Alan Smith, do you think? Blondie.
Probably.
Yeah.
Vinnie Jones has 7. Roy Keane has 7. And Joey Barton has 7. But I don't know if you're aware of this, but there was football before the Premier League. Did you know that?
Apparently
there was. So who has had the most red cards ever in the league? Now, I've got to just set you right here, because obviously they weren't handing out red cards a lot years ago. So, it won't be back into the 50s and stuff. They just let people in the 60s. They just let people punch each other then. So
I reckon Vinny.
Okay, you think Vinny?
I think
Vinny's 3rd with 12.
Dean Windhouse has got to be up there for getting sent off 5 times in one game.
No, Dennis Wise is 5th with 11. Mark Dennis and Vinnie Jones 12 each. Steve Walsh 13.
Kevin Muscat.
Whoa.
Is he in there?
No, Roy McDonough. So I don't know him. He's got 13 red cards. You know, he played for Birmingham, Walsall. He signed for. Well, he said he was playing for Chelsea, but did no appearances for us. Colchester United, Southend United, Exeter City, Cambridge United, Southend United. He played in the lower divisions, obviously. When he got his autobiography out, he called it Red Card Roy. So there you go. And most red cards, in one game goes. In a season. Sorry, most red cards in a season goes.
Whatever.
Yeah, most red cards in one season. Well, you're saying Dean Windhouse got 5 red cards. So what league? What league? Though. Does that count as 5? No.
It's a bit of an urban myth.
You were a referee, weren't you?
No,
I was a referee. Yeah, I think I'm still officially a qualified referee.
How hard was that? Why didn't you do it? Why didn't you go the whole way?
He was booking people in Esperanto. I was wine tasting.
Instead of a whistle, he had a French horn. Offside.
You just like being in charge, don't you? Referee.
Do not start. Yeah.
Did you do any match? You used to go off and do matches, didn't you, after Soccer AM?
Yeah. I refed in the, I think, Chiswick and District League where Robbie and I played as well.
Why did you give up?
Because I just got abuse every Sunday. I just couldn't handle it for 20
What, more
quid.
than you did at Soccer AM?
Yeah, surprisingly.
Did you get abuse because they recognised you?
No, I got abuse because I was terrible.
That's terrible, is it? No, you're not. Oh, you wouldn't have been terrible. It's the abuse refs get is awful, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've always thought that. I've always thought that. And I played a lot of football. I thought you've got to leave the ref alone.
And you'll have heard this too. I think the worst I got was from parents when I did youth game.
Yeah.
Because they were just so kind of into the game for their kids. They were kind of living the game. I only did a season.
Yeah, I think that's awful. And I think when managers call out referees on the football pitch in post-match and pre-match and stuff like that, I think, because they started doing it pre-match for a while, I think that's horrific, because these guys are turning up. You've got to give them half a chance. It's hard enough job. The game's quick, it's moving quickly, and they just keep having a go at them. It's just not right. We need to try and encourage people to come into the game to do it, and it's not going to happen if they feel that they give them what they should just do straight reds now for
yeah, you can cut the referee some slack because he's trying to manage it in real time and make decisions. But if they're getting it wrong on VAR, then there's not much
I agree. But they've
also
got the players diving everywhere and everyone going, "That's all right." So let's look after the refs because we want better refs, don't we?
They've got to do something to bring them into grassroots. In lower leagues, they're trialling or have been trialling the system of sin bins now.
Yeah,
for dissent.
And how's it been going?
By all accounts, it's working.
Okay. Yeah. Dennis Wise, by the way, who holds the record for the most red cards in a season 4 times over the course of the 98 and 99 season.
Who did he play for?
Of course, Chelsea. He was pre-season match against Atletico Madrid, followed by Everton, Villa, and.
Oh, was this Dennis Wise?
Yeah, Dennis Wise.
Oh, right. I thought you were looking for the answer.
Roy.
No, Dennis Wise.
Oh, right, okay.
No, Dennis Wise, he got the most sent off in a season. I think mine was pretty. I thought mine was pretty strong in the end because we all got a good discussion and we stuck up for refs in the game. Helen Chamberlain's going to decide the winner, but before that, should we do WWWF? What's wrong with football? What's right is on Friday. What's wrong with football, Helen?
JD, international breaks that nobody cares about. They always come up just as the league is gaining momentum. It's not woke, but it is utter nonsense.
I sort of agree. I get really disappointed when international weekends come up, don't you? And
I quite like it.
I think that's really sad because I used to look forward to England matches so much, but because they all seem like friendlies now, don't they?
See, as an Oxford fan, international breaks used to be fine because Oxford used to play during the international break. Right. But of course, now when they're in the Championship, I don't like international breaks. Joe, okay. How are you with Bolton playing on international breaks?
Our games do tend to get called off. Because we've got a few internationals in the ranks.
Talking about woke, just quickly, Helen. Henry has said, woke, no Premier League early kickoff last Saturday. Woke nonsense. There was no early kickoff. And Sam McNeil says, the fact that no one mentioned the Galacticos for G is utter woke nonsense.
Yeah.
And they have a point. Have you got any other WWWFs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So... I guess a few of our listeners were watching the Leicester Forest game because Martin Hughes and Keith Weller and Trinity Road 78, the yellow ball.
The yellow
ball supposedly hivers stick with your white ones unless there's snow on the pitch, and then get the orange one out.
Yes, get the orange one out. Yeah. What do we think about the yellow ball? Isn't it supposed to be easier to see? Isn't that the idea?
It's a nice treat, I think.
Yeah. It gave us an item on the show.
Yeah.
Twice a year.
You're like, oh, look, the ball's changed.
Yeah, people don't seem to like it, though, do they, Helen?
Well, it's funny, you'll have to wait till Friday, but when you get to What's Right with Football, somebody has submitted the yellow ball.
The yellow ball, all right.
Yellow ball.
It's worth two in snooker.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, I think we've come to the end of the show. So we've got to, all Helen has to do now is select her winner.
Okay, all right.
They're strong. Should we go through the room quickly again? You went for...
I brought you Harry Redknapp.
Neil went for...
Ian Holloway.
Joe went for...
Holidays.
Robbie.
Hassan Cashlow.
And I went for Hardman. Do you know what? It was a strong week this week. Whoever wins deserves it.
Where's the crown?
Tim just read out.
It's underneath.
Did you get to keep it, or are you...
No.
It's disappointing.
Okay.
What's the answer, Helen?
Well, I mean, I did enjoy Robbie reminding us all of Hassan Cashall's kickoff of the week, especially as one of the broadsheets picked up on that as well and said, "Oh my God, Soccer AM is so clever. They've taken the only part of football that has not been analysed to death, and they've turned it into an item. They're so clever.
It's clever.
It was
clever.
Desperate.
It was clever.
Is the better word.
It was clever.
Very.
Yeah, it did come with an item. It did come with an item. Yeah. So.
And then I went into Soccer AM and said, "Did you do Hassan Cashall's kickoff of the week just because it was funny?" And Tim went, "Yeah." The broadsheet did this whole article on us being clever, and I thought we're not. We just thought it was funny.
Come on, Helen, cut to the chase. Have I won or not?
No.
Well, you just read out a load of stats like you always do. So I'm going to give it to Neil for Ian Holloway.
Oh, you boy!
I knew I was playing. I was preaching to the choir. There we go.
That's the end of this week's show. Did you put it on?
You have to wear it.
Do I have to wear it?
Yes,
you're not above wearing it.
Contractually obliged to wear it.
Yeah, get it on. Okay, that's the end of this week's show.
What happens if my kids take a screen grab of this?
Come back on Friday for the Q&Q. The Q stands for Neil.
Quinthe.
No, it stands for quiz, and the other Q stands for Robbie.
Quarantine.
Questions and quiz on Friday. We'll see you then. Have a great week. Bye. I'm supposed to be reading this thing at the end of the video to influence people to do stuff. But as we've actually got an influencer here, Robbie, do you mind doing the honours?
Down the lens.
Influence our viewers.
Hey, thanks for listening to Soccer A to Z. If you've enjoyed it, it'd be great if you could listen to some other episodes. Just click the link here or in the description to go and find out more.